Greetings my excellent friends. Now I'm sure just like me you think it's absolutely bodacious and excellent that there's going to finally be Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music, and in this video I'm going to talk about 5 things that I want to see in the new sequel.
Excellent!
Hello everyone, welcome back to my movie obsession. My name's Jim and on this channel we talk about retro movies from the 80s and 90s, superhero movies, and discuss our movie obsession. So Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music should be coming our way in 2020. So here are 5 things I want to see from this absolutely bodacious, hopefully not bogus, sequel. So the first thing that I want for Bill and Ted 3 is that I want it to be different yet the same. One of the long awaited comedy sequels we had a few years ago was Dumb and Dumber 2, and when we saw Harry and Lloyd again they were exactly the same. In fact they were probably even dumber than when we last saw them. With Bill and Ted, these guys were teenagers in the first 2 films, so there is going to be a change. In order for us to believe these characters, there is going to be a change in them. They're going to have to have matured in some way. Now striking that balance and exploring how they did mature is the key to this movie's success in a way, because they have to still be Bill and Ted. And if you actually think about your own life, everyone always likes to talk about that we all change as we get older. We don't really. We kind of retain our personality, we retain who we become when we come of age, and we change a bit. Now Bill and Ted needs to be Bill and Ted. They need to be pure of heart, they need to be a little bit dumb, they need to still love rock music, they need to still have these little gestures they have between them, which many adult friends still relate to their teenage friends in a lot of the same old ways. So you've really got to get that balance right. You can't make them entirely the same, but you have to explore unique ways that they could have changed a little bit without erasing their whole personality. This is why this is going to be a bit difficult, because you don't want them to be too mature and you don't want them to be too immature, and you don't want them to be exactly the same.
I don't believe this guy.
I have heard interviews of Keanu Reeves saying it's interesting to approach Ted in his 50s and what would have changed and what wouldn't. So hopefully they strike the balance. They give Bill and Ted those character traits that we love, but update them in a way that we also love. So the next thing I want from Bill and Ted 3 is that they shouldn't push Bill and Ted's stupidity. Now that was one of the problems, as I say, with Dumb and Dumber 2. They made these guys dumber than we first saw them. Bill and Ted are daft to the post, we know that. But we can't just push that stupidity because that's what people found charming initially. One of the problems with Dumb and Dumber 2 is that they obviously thought that what we loved about Harry and Lloyd was how stupid they are. And that's not what we loved about Harry and Lloyd. What we loved was their underdog charm, and the fact that deep down they were actually good people, even though they were daft as a brush. Bill and Ted, there's so much to them. They're not just stupid, ignorant, silly guys. They have a lot of pure heart, and they believe in peace, and they've got really good values, and they're really kind, and they're really unjudgmental. And I feel like the writers and Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter know what worked about those characters, but the weird thing is, that's what Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and the Faraday said. They said they know what worked about Dumb and Dumber, and strangely enough, they just threw a load of dumb jokes out there in Dumb and Dumber 2 and didn't really produce the heart of the original. So that's a concern. Filmmakers can say they know the characters, and actors can say they know the characters, but sometimes they actually don't, which is a little bit of a worry for Bill and Ted 3, so hopefully that doesn't happen here.
Bogus!
Next thing I want from the film is I don't want them to rely on the present day too much. Don't make Bill and Ted trying to blend in with today's culture. Don't make them fish out of water and out of place, because it's just going to come across as sad. Don't make them engage with like the Jersey Shore crowd and all this new technology. You're going to have to incorporate it some way, but don't use it in a way that makes Bill and Ted look stupid. Because Bill and Ted need to be the people you root for in the film, and you can't just look at it as, oh, these are just aging rockers and we're going to find all these different ways to take the mick out of them in that they now don't fit into society. I don't like that. I don't think that would work at all. We were never laughing at Bill and Ted in terms of poking fun at them in the first 2 films. We were laughing with them in a way. We were laughing at their charm and innocence, and we rooted for them. So hopefully they don't do that. They just have it a little bit nostalgic, a bit of a Stranger Things feeling, Just have them writing their music and trying to produce the best song, focus on the time travel, don't try and throw in too many current jokes to try and be relevant, because it never lasts anyway, it dates the film in the long term anyway. And that leads me on to the next one. They need to keep the heart, the happiness, the spirit, the heartwarming charm of the first two films. These films are literally two films I go to when I am depressed, because Bill and Ted can see anyone through depression. They're just so happy and charming, and they bring the best out in everyone. You know, they go back in time in the first film and they meet tyrannical leaders and evil people, and they bring the best out in them, and they make them rediscover their empathy with these historical figures. They become best mates with like Napoleon and Genghis Khan, these vicious people, and it doesn't seem weird to watch it because they're just so charming. They just manage to charm anyone, and they don't judge anyone because they don't know enough to judge people. And even the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted 2, his heart softens, and I love that journey in Bill and Ted 2. I love how the Grim Reaper meets them and he's all like the Grim Reaper would be, but the more he spends time with Bill and Ted, you can't help but get caught up in their spell. And that's such a charming thing, and everyone becomes friends by the end of the film. You know, those are films about friendship, love and world peace. You know, a wonderful scene is when they travel to the future, and obviously everyone worships them, and all the future people start doing that hand gesture with that awesome 80s music playing in the background. In time everything will be alright. It's a charming scene, it gets under my skin, and it's just a lovely message.
Say something. What should I say? Make something up.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes!
These films are about peace, and these films are about seeing the good in people, and these films are about eventually putting our differences aside, you know. And there's wonderful moments like that in Bill and Ted 1 and 2, and they need to capture that. They need to capture that spirit, that heartwarming search for world peace. And finally, the last thing that I want from Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music is they need to include new and old faces. Now, they can't just make this all of the old characters come back from Bill and Ted 1 and 2. I know the Grim Reaper is coming back, and I'm psyched for that. I love the Grim Reaper, he is epic.
You might be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper.
But we can't just have the Grim Reaper come back and Billy the Kid come back and Socrates come back and all these characters come back, because you don't want to go too far the other way. You don't want to make it just a nostalgia show. So there needs to be new characters who stand up to the old characters. So I would have some characters from the future who sort of spend time with Bill and Ted, who are literally new characters who we should be focused on, and then you blend them in with the old characters. Now don't get me wrong, I'd like to see Missy come back, I'd like to see Ted's father come back, I'd like to see little cameos here and there, but I don't want to see too many of them. You know, Bill and Ted 1 and 2 had lots of characters. If you just throw them all in there, we will get tired of it and we'll see through it. So there needs to be some new characters, and I've heard that Bill and Ted have daughters in the film. I don't know what they're going to do in that respect, if they're going to be genuine main characters, but if they can make them as charming as Bill and Ted, then I'm all on board for that as well. So we need new characters who are funny. They have to be funny, and they have to capture that spirit of the first two films. And this is going to be very hard. Everything I've said on this list is going to be very, very hard, but if they have the passion and they have the love for this material, you can capture lightning in a bottle, you can do it, but you have to kind of getting the vibe of those first two films. If I was Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, I'd be watching those films intensely going, you know, what worked? How can we capture this in a bottle? How can we not just make it two fish out of water, aging rockers in a new world? We don't want to see that. We don't. It's alright if there's a few gags like that, but we want to feel like we did watching those first two films. That's what we want to do, and we need to update it in appropriate ways that don't undermine or degrade our main characters. So that's it, guys. What do you want to see from Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music? Let me know what you think about things I want to see in the comments down below, but let me know as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I have many more videos about retro movie reviews, superhero movie reviews, and other movie discussions just like this. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. And remember, be excellent to each other.